How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out the potential skins for this next week. And what that means, if you're new, doesn't mean all these skins will be for sale or ever will be. Just means these have the potential to be. That's why I said potential. So, yeah, any of these could make it in. The game's lead dev and creator, Helk, picks out 8 to 10 every week, and then it pretty much moves on. So, there is that. So, starting off, we've got a burlap head wrap and a poncho for you. The Dark Knight combo. Definitely one of those medieval ones I could see a lot of people liking. I also love that kind of patch quilt mixed in between to give it that nice kind of different to it. Next, we've got the Skullforce leather gloves and burlap shoes. So yeah, we don't really get burlap shoes or leather gloves too often, but we did get some more primitive pieces of this set, so maybe they'll have a chance. We'll just have to see. Next, we've got a continuation of the comic set with the bandana and a hide poncho. There's always a little hidden smiley face, as you can see right there it is. And there you have it. Next up, we've got the knitted poncho set, and it comes in either pink or green. So I did the green mask and the pink poncho. And yeah, this whole just knitted bandit thing going on here is definitely crazy looking. But hey, you know, some people like the whole vibrant colors. We've got this sticky poncho for you by Chillig, and as you can see, it just kind of looks like some kind of like venom symbiote something kind of going on. You've got all these green glowy parts, definitely very crazy looking. Next, we've got the Mr. Crab boonie hat, and as you can see here, it's got little crab legs kind of going all around the side, and they are a little bit thin on the edges, so I don't know if that might do something against it, but one way or another, it is a fancy, silly little hat. We've got a couple sets of hoodies and pants for you. The first one here is the Scientist set, and as you can see, the whole thing has a bunch of different chemistry and science stuff written all over it. There's even DNA on the legs. Oh, that sounded dirty. One way or another, you got some rust stuff thrown in there as well, and it kind of has that blueprint kind of blue going on, you know, reminiscent of the old kind of fragment pages. Next, we've got the 90s tracksuit for you, and well, it just pretty much lives up to it. The whole thing looks like it's made out of that vinyl windbreaker material kind of thing, and yeah, it just has that bright 90s jumpsuit look. Next, we've got a nearly all white or grayish kind of colored, it's the white core hoodie, pants, and set. And yeah, it's a continuation with the kind of cork stuff, and it's just kind of that different shades of grays and off-whites, which I could see a lot of people liking. Next, we've got a single set of boots, and usually boots have to be paired with gloves, but when it's something that kind of makes sense on its own, like cowboy boots, hey, it works. So we've got some fancy Western cowboy boots for you. Next up, we've got the Legacy Kevlar jacket, and as you can see here, it has kind of like these plates almost with the, you know, Kevlar, I guess, as you would call it. Definitely fits well into the collection, and I can see a lot of people liking it for that reason. And it is another dark colored jacket. Next, we've got one of the most popular ones probably this week, and everyone's been asking for, the Flashbacks set. A lot of people want some more fresh green camo that isn't crazy expensive, and this seems to be the set everyone kind of wants it to be. Maybe it will continue to happen. I really hope so as well, because hey, it's nice to see different versions of stuff pop in that becomes affordable again. Speaking of camo, we've got the literal camouflage net set, moved on to some road sign armor by Mishka here, and I think this might be just a little too much. I mean, it's basically ghillie road sign, but hey, who knows, one way or another, doesn't hurt to try. Next, we've got V2 of the pizza road sign set. Now, Hulk did say that this set was done with the just being the primitive gear, but hey, who knows, maybe we could see the rest of this stuff pop in. They did do a really nice set. Really love how the cardboard is accentuated and just everything with the pizza. Next, on our first high qual set, we've got the inflatable mask and chest piece for you. As you see, it's exactly what you'd expect with the inflatable set, the default colors, and that nice puffiness. Alright, next up we've got the chameleon high qual set for you, and it's got these pieces of rubber, and then everything else is that chameleon armor that you know, that same kind of shine to it. Definitely translated well onto a high qual set and has a pretty unique looking mask. Next, we've got the Pyro Man set. This has two different unique chest pieces. One has this same kind of panel on the back and front, and the other version has the actual like little flamethrower kind of backpack thing going on. Now this might look a little too flat, which I think is why they made two different versions, which is always smart to do, but I think it looks really cool, and it's definitely a fun, rusty kind of set. Last but not least, we have the Gangster's metal face mask and chest piece here, and yeah, it kind of has a whole like cel-shaded, almost cartoon look, and you've got some brass knuckles and a gold chain and some tattoos underneath the white t-shirt and everything, and yeah, it's definitely crazy. You even have some gold grills and a forever tattoo there on the face. Alright, next up, we're going to move on to our deployables, and we have a lot of them. Most of them are single sheet metal doors, so we're going to try to kind of go through it as quick as we can. First one up here, we've got this really cool looking snake with the snake bite sleeping bag. Then we've got the woven tarp sleeping bag. And the Hukalahoma, I still feel like I'm not saying that right, sleeping bag. Then we've got a little cheese box for you. Then we've got a sulfur large box right here. There we go. I don't know why the camera's being so wonky. Contraband, sulfur large box. Blocky cargo box. Purple Knight large box. And a very simple but fun little idea with the large planter box. Moving on, we've got two different furnaces for you this week. The Mega Brain. Kind of has like little cybernetic implants throughout it. And then we've got the She Stole My Banana furnace. And it kind of looks like a giant hand squeezing a monkey. Pretty sure there's some kind of euphemism there. Also, the giant hand is really freaky looking with its extra long fingers. But one way or another, there he is. Moving on, we do have a locker for you this week, and it is the Happus University locker. It does have some little parts of transparency, which kind of, you know, pops through in the locker in different spots. Then over here, we've got many rugs for you. The first one's the Wallpaper Pookie Bear. Then the Toilet Paper Rug. Curtains Rug. Navigation Rugs. And another attempt at a mesh wire called Mesh Fence. So there you go. Then we've got ourselves two wooden doors. The first one's going to be the temporary wooden door. And I just realized that this is just the other version of it that has neon. So, well, there we go. You get to see both versions of a skin today because I goofed and thought they were two different doors. So there you have it. They do look very different, but the hourglass is kind of obvious. Next, we've got our sheet metal doors, and there's going to be a lot, like I said. First up is the Luxury Wings, Damascus, Glow and Non-Glow, Battle Scarred, Soul Reaper, Runestone, Garden Metal Door. This is two versions, one with a transparency hole and one without. Then we also have the Gallery of Horrors version 2. Checkpoint Metal Door has kind of like a military-esque kind of Air Force vibe for me. Cranial Sheet Metal Door. This has kind of more of a, what, jungle-y kind of feel? Ancient temple thing. And then we've got the Cat Door. Quite a cool little graffiti kitty. Then we've got a continuation in the Polished Obsidian set with the single door. The Lion Love Door. I guess it's showing love go through the line to its heart. I don't know. It's an odd shape. Then we've got the Moonlight Sheet Metal Door. The Call to the Depths Sheet Metal Door with a very busty mermaid. The Sprout Metal Door. And the Map Sheet Metal Door. Then we've got a couple of double doors for you. The first one here is a continuation in the Shadowborn set by Vase with a continuation of this just epic art. Then over here we've got the Bunker Sheet Metal Double Door. Then we've got some more graffiti with this mean face with the Blaze-bound skull. And last but not least, the nuclear bunker doors. Moving on to our garage doors, we've got the Toxic Wolf garage door. The CCSC garage door has two versions. One does have some transparency holes. You can basically peek through all the little portholes, which is an interesting take. Then speaking of peek holes, we've got another garage door with some crazy peek holes. The Nightmare garage door. It also has a version without, just in case Helk doesn't like it. Then moving on, we've got a couple armored doors. The first one's going to be the armored green container door. Pretty straightforward with that one. Then we've got armored door ritual. And lastly, we've got the heavy raider armored door. We can go ahead and pop around the back. Take a look at the back sides there. Ha, back sides. And now we can take a look at the glow. Very crazy how that one looks. It's like a little spotlight. And of course, there you've got the moon at night. We cruise all the way down to these here. And then the furnaces for the monkey just has the mouth. The brain does have the little lights that light up, and then the brain itself lights up throughout. And then we've got some glow on our large boxes. Let's see if we get a little better top view there. And there is the glowing snake eyes on the sleeping bag. Alright, next up we've got our weapons and tools. First up we've got the Hammer from Hell. Definitely a very popular set that holds a very high price tag, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if this makes it in. Also, it is a glowing hammer, and it's been a bit since we've had some good glowing hammers. Next we've got, well, another hammer that is kind of funky looking. It's the Bump Hammer, and it's got a glow going on for it as well. It's kind of like a very ghostly glow, I would say. Then we've got one more hammer for you, and it's this very kind of smug, freaky looking pig, the Happy Pig Hammer. Moving on, we have a salvaged ice pick, the Flesh and Bone ice pick. Definitely a very gnarly looking one. And yeah, definitely, man, we just haven't had a salvage ice pick in forever. It's been years. It'd be really nice to see one pop in. Moving on, we have a combat knife for you, if it ever pops out. The Abstract Fade combat knife. Kind of simple design, but one of those kind of e-sporty knives. Then we've got a pirate machete for you. It's all beat up and cobbled together. Definitely really cool salvage sword skin. Very rusty, and just one of those things you saw someone coming at you, it just looks very intimidating, for sure. Next up, we've got a continuation in the diamond set with the diamond bow. As you can see here, it continues with that kind of dark obsidian with diamond in between. Then moving on, we've got the advanced crossbow. As you can see here, it has some aim in advance. Oh, it's teaching you, you know, basically how to do angles and pre-aim. So there you go. Then over here, we've got a couple DBs. The first one's going to be the minigun double barrel. Definitely a fun little design with a minigun coming up, and it fits the DB quite well. Then we've got another DB, and it's from another very popular set, the Thundergold set. So this could be another good contender for this week. Wouldn't be surprised to see it pop on in. Then we've got a couple of pumpies for you. The first one here is going to be the Black Gold Pump Shotgun. Again, another set that is also very popular, carries a higher price tag, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see this one make its way in this week. Then we've got another shoddy for you to finish off this row. It is the Old Gold pump. Has a kind of leather and old kind of western look to it, which I think fits the pump quite well. Next, we can move on to our pistols. First up, we've got a little Eoka for you. It's made of rubber and paint and very raidery looking. It is the Bullseye Eoka. Then we've got some pythons, and the first one's going to be the Copper Python, version 2, I believe, or 3 maybe we're on, I'm not sure. This is a very popular set as well. So hey, I know a lot of you would like to see this one, but it seems a lot of times the pieces get skipped over many times before one makes it in. Aiming down the sides here, you do have a very nice bright yellow tip, but it is not a glow tip. Our next python is the 3D printed python, and man, this thing really does just look 3D printed. I feel like if you try to fire this, it would just explode and melt onto your hand. But, well, what's left of your fingers, I would call that. Maybe not a hand. But one way or another, aiming down the sides here, you do have a blue tip, and you can drop out some painted bullets there as well. Printed bullets is what I meant to say. Then we've got ourselves a gambling python with the up streak python here. Has a very nice kind of, very kind of royal green to kind of match that, you know, gambling table, card table kind of color. And then you got the little poker chips that almost kind of move like a slot, you know. Very cool idea. Our next python is the Python Polymer, and yeah, it just basically looks like it is made out of like a dark polymer. Definitely a very nice idea, and we've never seen a polymer kind of take onto this, but it is very different from the rest of the polymer set, so hey, maybe different name. Aiming down the sights, it does have kind of a bit of red sights going on, but it's kind of weird depending on how the light really is out there. Then moving on, we've got one more pistol, and it is a sap, and it's the Bismuth sap. Definitely a very beautiful design. It just looks so great on the weapons with the gold trim and then just the bright colors. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a reddish tip to go against. And there's our reload. Next, we can move on to our SMGs, and we've got the Radiation Custom for you. This one has all sorts of bright yellow and a nice kind of clash of that dark purple with it. Aiming down the sights, you've got a big old rad symbol and some silver chromic sights going on. Moving on to our MP5s, our first one here is the Reinforced Frame. Definitely a very unique look to it. You can see a lot of people liking this just for how different it is. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a nice red tip and normal sights. Then we've got the Collateral Damage MP5 for you. This one's very rusty and hand painted and really hand, you know, torn apart looking, worn and torn. Aiming down the sights, you don't have anything too different with the color, just kind of rust on rust. Then we've got one more MP5 for you, and this one is the Radiant Frames. And yeah, just got another kind of frame thing going on with it, as you can see here. And then it kind of has urban camo with the gray and black. Aiming down the sights here, you have just black on black sights. Next, we move on to our rifles, and first up, we've got the Invincible SAR. As you can see, it's kind of got like a gray and black camo with this just yellow, just scraped all over it. Aiming down the sights, you've got what look like green glow sights, but they are not. And there we go for our reload. Then we've got ourselves the Plaster SAR. This thing looks like it's all set up with a cast plaster wrapping. Definitely gives it a very unique and handmade look. Aiming down the sights, you just have regular, normal iron sights. Moving on, we've got a few more SARs. The first one here is going to be Prototype SAR. We did see one piece of the set pop on in, so who knows, maybe Helk will grab some more. Definitely has kind of a more pieced together, but still future kind of techie look to it. Aiming down the sides there, there's a little robot and a nice little yellow tip against the silver, just like the other pieces. Then our last SAR is going to be the Oil Spill Semi-Automatic. Everything you would expect from it, nice oil glisteningness, and there we go, framing down the sights, and our reload. Next, we move on to our AKs. First one is the Tourist AK. Has a nice kind of flat black look to it, with lots of leather highlights, including some postcards. Aiming down the sights, you have, well, the brown leather against the black of the AK. Then next up, we've got the Imperial AK. It has that beautiful kind of carved look with some polished wood for the grips and the stock. Also comes in a stockless version. And you have the faintest of a red tip to the sight and a carved skull on the back. Then moving on, we've got the Apocalypse Nomad AK. And man, this thing just looks so beat up and cobbled. Just really fits right in with that Apocalypse name. And aiming down the sights, there are two different versions, and this is the custom sighted one, which looks very cool. Then our next one is this very hidden gold underneath being torn right out, the Rapper AK. Definitely love that kind of design. Aim down the sights so you can see it is indeed gold, and there is a black tip against the gold backside. Last but not least, we have one more AR for you. It's the Forward to the Past AK, and it kind of has like this retro kind of look to it. I can't really name the other bit of it, but it's just pretty unique. I like the look of it, really. Aiming down the sights, you have kind of like these chomping metal teeth and almost like a Cyclops eye going on, and then you've got a red tip against the iron sights there. This week we do have one LR, the Aurora, and yeah, this thing is just shimmery and shiny. It has all sorts of different kind of textures going on, even with like a kind of a swirl split there. Aiming down the sights, you have the same kind of shimmery going on, and there's that reload. And last but not least, we do have an L96 for you, and it's all carved up. It is the Lost Element L96. Definitely a very cool looking design. Even has a little bit right there. But that's going to do it, everyone. So sound off down in the comment section below. Which ones are you hoping to make it in this week the most, and why? Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, stay rusty. We'll see you next time.